I'm Adam.
And I'm Joe. Adam, I found this piece of paper.
Yeah?
Loud, uncreative, bad cook, chubby ankles? Is this a list about me?
No. No, that's about your mom.
Oh, is that why there's no pros?
Yeah. We're the Maladjusted Misfits.
And this is the one where we talk about friends. You're bad. I hit my mic stand.
You're bad. I hit my mic stand.
How are you this week?
I'm doing fine.
Good.
My thing is updating, so it's not open yet.
Oh, all right.
So I'm doing fine. How are you doing this week?
I'm doing okay.
You had a busy week?
I did. Another busy week at work.
Yeah.
I went out to dinner with some work friends, and I didn't get to see you one night, and I was sad.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
I know. And then I went and got my hair cut yesterday, which was only supposed to be 2 hours, and I was gone for 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't like that either.
No. You're not allowed to go anywhere today.
You can go with me. All right. So what are we doing this week?
We are doing the one with the list.
Oh, no.
Yes.
What is the IMDb plot?
With help from Chandler and Joey, Ross makes a list of pros and cons to decide whether to be with Julie or Rachel. Meanwhile, Monica gets a job making dessert with a disgusting synthetic chocolate substitute.
Right. It's like, why would you substitute chocolate again?
Yeah.
All right. So our episode director this week was Mary Kay Place.
Yes, and you were like all excited.
Yeah, because I thought you knew who it was. And then when I showed you, you were
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah. But we know her as an actress from a ton of stuff.
Right.
Like she was in Being John Malkovich, Girl Interrupted, The Big Chill. But she also directed one episode of Friends.
Oh.
And a few episodes of a TV show called Dream On. And was a writer for a few episodes of MASH.
Oh, wow.
I know. I thought it was pretty cool.
I think it's funny you spelled MASH with lowercase letters.
I think I tried to spell it with uppercase and they kept correcting it. And our writers were our creators, Marta Kaufman and David Crane.
Yeah. I think they were like, you got them together while we weren't paying attention?
We have to break them up. So I just went on a couple websites and pulled some stuff down about them. So Marta Kaufman said when she was talking about Friends, this show is comfort food. It's warm, it's inviting. You want those people in your house.
Right.
She said they met when they were doing theater.
Nice.
And they were in a play. And she said she was a whore and he was a street urchin.
Oh, I do miss the theater.
And then David Crane said, we sort of fell into writing. I mean, it wasn't like we both had these dreams and plans. We were like, hey, we should, write a show and put it on.
Yeah.
Kind of like we did with
That'll
the
make us millions and millions of dollars.
Also, NBC was a little concerned that the show would skew too young. And so they were suggesting that maybe in the coffee house they have a cop or someone older that was cool that owned the coffee shop, who was older and represented another generation. And for a little while, they didn't entertain that idea. They actually named him Pat the Cop.
Pat the Cop.
And we realized it was a terrible idea, and that actually solidified our belief that the stories are universal enough, and if you care about the characters, you don't need another generation.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that's funny.
Pat the Cop.
You need like an old guy or a homeless orphan that can come in and they take care of him.
I think it's funny that Terry was their old guy and he
Yeah.
was only on for like 3 episodes or two
Yeah.
episodes. All right, so when was our original air date?
All right, our original air date was November 16th, 1995.
Ooh.
That week, GoldenEye debuted at number 1 at the U.S. box office and still remains the best Bond film to date. Right? It's still the best Bond film.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, no. Daniel Craig will forever be my Bond.
Well, have you even seen the other Bonds?
I have.
All right.
I remember that really, really weird one. I think it was Pierce Brosnan when he was driving through this place that was made of ice, remember?
Yeah.
See?
I think that was one where we were like, I don't know. This series goes off the rails sometimes. It's like that guy with braces in space. It's like, no, I don't know.
Are you ready for some trivia?
I am ready for some trivia.
All right. So season 2 is the only season where the group does not enjoy, plan, or sit down to a Thanksgiving holiday meal together.
Yes, and so far, no sweater vests.
Yeah. The holiday is only briefly referred to in this episode where she goes for the job interview and talks about making up maklit recipes for Thanksgiving.
Right.
That's the only mention of it in season 2.
Hmm.
A breakup scene for Ross and Julie was written, but the writers decided to skip it because they knew everyone's hearts would be with Ross and Julie if they kept it in instead of with Ross and Rachel.
Right.
We would all have been like, oh, poor Julie.
Well, right. I mean, she's so nice. Like I said, when we were watching the extra scene, I was like, I don't want to have to see him break up with her.
Right. So the DJ who plays Ross's message and song to Rachel, her name is Karen Sharp, and she works for KOST 103.5 in LA, hosting a segment called Love Songs. It's nationally syndicated on 150 plus stations and 8.3 million listeners still going strong today.
Aww.
Isn't that crazy?
That is, because
really
I
cool.
would never listen to that station.
We don't listen to the radio much anymore. When playing a song after Ross's desperate song dedication, the radio DJ says, Avery, Michelle's sorry she hit you with her car. So Avery Michelle is Marta Kaufman's goddaughter. And allegedly her parents are the source of the inspiration for the characters of Carol and Susan.
Oh,
Which
nice.
I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
And then Chandler's laptop.
Ooh.
Compact Contura 4/25 CX was originally around 1992 to 1996. That's the lifetime of that.
Okay.
The battery lasted for 3 hours.
Wait, 3 whole hours?
3 whole hours.
Oh my God.
And in 1994, the base model cost $3,848.
No, thank you.
Which adjusted for inflation today is $6,756.82.
Oh, that's a little pricey.
But you can get one on eBay for $180 today.
180?
Yeah.
It says 18 in the notes.
I know. I
No.
accidentally.
I was going to ask you to get me one, but now I don't want it.
Yeah, no. I'm not buying you an old ass laptop for $180. But isn't that funny?
That is funny.
All right, so what are your episode reactions this week?
So, this episode I've come to appreciate more over time. Yes, I find Rachel a little unreasonable, but I do like the scene where Ross and her get together and then she finds the list and they pick a short story. I think that's all funny.
Yeah.
I mean, the Mocklet stuff is goofy and fun, and I like Cox and McKeon together. Even that radio DJ who you mentioned, who really kind of oversells the pro-con list as a bad thing, is still pretty funny. So, thumb up for me. I mean, I like it.
Yeah. I too enjoy this episode. Funny stuff with Chandler. Yes, Rach does overreact a bit, and I know some do not agree, but she doesn't see how genuinely he wants to be with Rachel. She doesn't see that part. We see that part.
Yeah, because he never shows her that.
Exactly.
Ever.
But anyhow, yes, Monica is funny, McKeon, and overall, genuinely, I like this episode. It's fun.
And by McKeon, we mean Michael McKeon.
Yes, Michael McKeon, who plays the
Mocklet guy.
Mocklet guy.
His
Yeah.
the name of the character's in here later.
All right.
So what was your favorite line,
Favorite
Joe?
line? It's a couplet, and I hate doing that, but it's just so funny. And every time I think of this episode, it's what I think of. I've got no morals, and I need the cash. It's like I'm looking in a mirror. I just laugh every single time.
And I picked the Chandler line. It's when Ross is saying, "Oh no, it's a nightmare."
Right.
"Oh no, 2 women love me. They're both gorgeous and sexy. My wallet's too small for my 50s, and my diamond shoes are too tight."
It is so funny. And the way he delivers it is hysterical.
Yes.
All right. Favorite moments. There are a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
This episode is full of them. But I love when they're making the list and Ross says, you could say she's a little spoiled. And then Joey goes, you could say that, and does his little finger snap, and points to Chandler. I just love it. I don't know why, but I crack up every time he does it.
Write it down.
We're making a list here.
And I'm going to go with later when Ross looks at Joey after he suggests Chandler read his short story to Rachel. Ross looks like he's going to stab him in the face.
But I love Joey's reaction.
Yeah.
He like nods and winks at him.
He's like, no, this is going to work perfect.
We got this.
Chandler's got it. Don't worry.
All right. Favorite outfit. Not a lot to choose from again.
No.
Casual jeans, t-shirts. Rachel's outfit when she finds a list. But I do like Phoebe's rose necklace in the coffee shop. So she has on a black jacket and then black pants and red shoes. And then she has that cutie 3D rose necklace.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really cute.
Okay, so outfits were lacking.
Right?
So I kind of broke from tradition.
Uh-oh.
And I'm picking a duo.
A duo?
Yes.
2 people?
2 people. So I like sad Joey and sad Phoebe. Look so cute together in their little sad raincoats. So the 2 of them standing next to each other in their raincoats is my pick.
It is adorable. That raincoat on Joey is so cute.
He looks like, they both look like toddlers.
Yeah.
And they're both sad.
He looks like Georgie from It. He just needs a paper boat.
Right.
Themes we explored in this episode.
Yes.
Theme 1. Should you make a pros and cons list?
I don't know. Let's make a pros and cons list. Theme 2. FDA approval. Very important.
Theme 3. Chandler is not a writer.
Nor can he improvise lies very well. Theme 4. Rachel doesn't want to be happy.
Right. I get the impression that she has to sabotage it.
Right.
I think, and we'll talk about it, but I think I would have been mad about the list, in the moment. But I think I would have listened to you, and we would have talked about it, and you would have said, come on.
Well, we always say communication.
Right.
And what she does is shut down all communication.
Right. And she does it all the time.
I don't even want to discuss it.
Right. He broke up with Julie.
Right.
So, all right, we're going to take a break before we break down the episode.
Okay. Are your kids tired of chocolate for every dessert?
Not chocolate chips again. Isn't there anything new?
Now there is. Mocklet.
Mocklet?
Yes, Mocklet, a brand new, fully synthetic chocolate substitute. This Thanksgiving, celebrate using Mocklet. You can make pumpkin pie with Mocklet cookie crumble crust,
Mocklet cranberry cake,
Pilgrim Mocklet mousse,
Mocklet milk,
traditional Mocklet English trifles.
Daddy, this Mocklet burns my mouth.
Shut up, sweetie. Your children will want Mocklet Thanksgiving and every day. Mocklet contains no vitamins and minerals, is not safe for children, is legal only in Mississippi, may cause coughing, indigestion, depression, anxiety, rabies, diarrhea, and vomiting.
Mocklet, that aftertaste will last you until Christmas.
We are back.
We're back.
Cold open. Monica and Rachel's. The 3 ladies are there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean by that.
Yes, the 3 ladies. I know.
Rachel starts off standing in front of the other 2 and immediately says, Ross kissed me. Phoebe yells, no! And Monica says, oh my God, so many times. You think her home was redecorated on one of those shows you like, Joe.
HGTV for the win.
Rachel says it was unbelievable. And Phoebe immediately orders Monica, which I find is funny. It seems like reversed.
Right?
She's like, Monica, grab the wine and unplug the phone. Rachel, does this end well or do we need tissues? She has this little thing with her fingers that's very intense. And Rachel shakes out of her coat like a stripper thing. I don't know. I was a little turned on by it. And she says it ended very well.
Do not start without me. Do not start without me.
Thank you, Monica. Phoebe now wants to hear about the kiss. Was it like soft brush up against your lips or like a gotta have you now kind of thing? And Rachel claims at first it was very intense because we were yelling at each other right before like we always do. That's healthy, right?
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, God. And then we just sort of sunk into it. And Phoebe needs more details. She's like, when I get back from the doctor's office with the kids and you always wanted details. It's like, take them yourself if you want every little thing written down.
Adam.
Yeah?
The Friends episode.
Right. I'll get back on track. Phoebes wants to know if the Rossitron was holding her or if his hands were on her back. And Rachel goes, well, first they were on my waist and then they slide up and were in my hair. And Monica and Phoebe both go, oh. Monica, a little too much considering she is talking about her brother, right?
Yeah, it's weird. I don't like it.
But they are all excited, so I'm not going to worry about it.
And they're friends, so I kind of get it.
Yeah, right. And then we cut to the men folk at Chandler and Joey's, and they are standing around eating pizza. And Ross says, and then I kissed her. And Joey asks,
Tongue?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, then we cut to Central Perk. We have Monica, Phoebe, Chandler, and Joey.
Mm-hmm.
So Chandler's showing off his new laptop, and it's the size of a briefcase.
Yes.
12 megabytes of RAM, 500 megabyte hard drive, built-in spreadsheet capabilities, and a modem that transmits at over 28,000 BPS.
Oh my gosh, it's so quaint. It's like in Star Wars, the first one, when they're in the Millennium Falcon, and then they have the plugged-in headsets that talk to each other. And you're like, huh, no Bluetooth on the Falcon, huh?
Right? Come on. You got light speed, for Christ's sake. Yeah, your phone has more memory and is faster processing, and it's 1/16 the size of this laptop. So the current average internet speed is 121 Mbps.
Oh, my God.
So BPS is bits per second, and Mbps is 1 million beats per second. So yeah, it's slow.
It's super slow.
When I read that, I was like, oh my God. But we lived in that time, so I don't know what I'm complaining about.
Well, you just never bought a computer because it was like...
Right, $3,000.
Yeah, $3,000, I can write a pro-cons list on it. What?
So Phoebe says, wow, what are you going to use it for? Games and stuff.
Games and stuff.
That's what guys always say.
Porn. I don't know.
Oh, it's too slow. Remember comic book guy on The Simpsons?
Come on, load.
All right. So Monica goes, there's no jobs. There are no jobs for me.
Yeah, restaurant jobs in NYC were probably few and far between.
Right. There's like 80 million restaurants. So Joey points out that he found one and asks if she's willing to cook naked.
There's an ad for a naked chef?
No, but if you're willing to cook naked, you might be willing to dance naked. And then he makes that universal sign for money, 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 money.
Right.
Joey cooks naked, remember? Nothing that splatters.
No, he cooks toast.
That's
the only thing Joey cooks.
That's right. Chandler makes his pancakes. So Ross walks in and says, hi.
Hi.
And Phoebe asks how we made out last night. And everyone laughs, and I love Chandler's face.
Yeah.
It's too funny. Ross says, it's funny, but it's not. It's painful. Monica says, hold the phone. I thought last night was great. And Ross says, it was, but he gets home and he sees Julie's saline solution and he thinks, what the hell am I doing? Here I have this great woman who cares about me. And then he ponders if he's going to throw that all away. And Joey says, you got all that from saline solution?
Yeah.
And then there was a cut line on the DVD.
Yeah.
And Chandler says, oh, yeah, show me a bottle of Visine. And I'm like, whoa, who am I? But Monica says, it's Rachel. It's you and Rachel. And Ross says, he's been dreaming about Rachel for tens of years.
Do you know how many tissues that is?
Oh, nice. And gross. So he does the me and Julie and me and Rachel and me and Julie and me and Rachel walks in from the door that we don't know where it leads.
It's a little closet.
But she has supplies, and then later on, Chan and Monica do it there. So
Right. It's a supply closet.
So Ross stands and says, Rachel, and they awkwardly say hi and make small talk.
Mm-hmm.
Then Julie walks in and says, hi, honey. And he says, hi, Julie, before he realizes.
Hi, Julie. Oh,
hi, Julie. Everyone's here and everyone's good.
Right. I feel like Ross has been ignoring everybody all day.
Yeah.
I've been like, I need to make sure I go over to Julie's right away.
Right.
So they're not running into each other at the coffee
yeah,
house.
Yeah. Or like call her and just say, I got some stuff to do. I'll call you later.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, me as a person who doesn't cheat.
Once a cheater, always a cheater.
I would have had a hard enough time kissing her.
Right.
Let alone not breaking up immediately.
So Ross tries to break the tension by asking Phoebe to play something.
Ooh.
But she makes it worse. So Joey says he didn't know Julie wore lenses. And Ross shushes him like he's telling Julie that he kissed Rachel.
Right.
Like,
I didn't know you wore lenses. It's
That's-
an innocent question.
Right. It's not a horrible thing. So Phoebe sings about a love triangle between three people she made up and clarifies by singing that she cannot stress enough that it isn't real.
This is fictional, y'all.
And it's called Two of Them Kissed Last Night. So the song goes, Betty and Neil, the story isn't real, cast aside. Betty, or will it be the one that will call?
Luli! I like Luli.
And Julie is completely oblivious, listening
Yeah.
to Phoebe thinking, this chick is cray-cray.
Right. I feel bad for Lauren Tom having to sit there and smile like
Right.
everybody's making these faces. She's singing a song about a love triangle. Anybody in their right mind would be like,
What
wait,
the hell?
Luli?
Right.
What's going on? But she has to be there like, oh, Phoebe's kooky.
And then Phoebe starts shouting, he must decide, he must decide.
And Ross looks completely relaxed during the he must decide part of the song.
Right. Rach also looks a bit uncomfortable, but Ross looks like his face might explode.
Again, you think Julie would be like, are you having a stroke?
Right. What's wrong with you? And then it fades out into the next scene.
Yes. So the fade out,
Mm-hmm.
they do a weird transition.
Yeah, it is weird.
So we're at Mocklet corporate headquarters, and it's Monica and Mr. Rastatter.
Okay.
But from the last scene, they focused in on Ross having his aneurysm. And then they crossfade into the Statue of Liberty lamp that Mr. Rastatter has on his desk.
Right.
Now, normally when they fade in on something else, it's because they're trying to connect themes or
Right.
stories. And this is just weird and leaves Schwimmer's face mushed with this Liberty flame for no reason.
It was weird. Mary Kay Place, what were you thinking?
Just a hard cut. That's not, you know. Anywho, we have the always fun Michael McKean, who has 252 acting credits on IMDb.
Wow.
He was in Laverne and Shirley TV show. He was part of the Lenny and Squiggy combo,
Yep.
which I feel like might be problematic today. I haven't seen Lenny and Squiggy in like 30 years, but I feel like my memory of them is not good.
I think they were harmless.
He was also in Clue,
Oh,
Best
awesome.
in Show,
Yep.
This is Spinal Tap.
Yep.
All movies we've mentioned before on the podcast.
Yep.
And he's currently filming Spinal Tap 2.
Cool.
He is Mr. Ratstatter, who thinks Monica's resume is nice. Muy impressivo.
There was a cut line on the DVD where Monica goes, shame and none of it's true. And then he looks at her like, what the fuck? And she goes, I'm just kidding. I'm nervous.
I'm nervous. Monica asks what the job entails because the ad was lacking in details, and he holds up a box and says, Mocklet. It's a completely synthetic chocolate substitute. And he tells her to have a piece and then goes on to explain that LexCorp or the Umbrella Corporation or Wayland Yutani or whatever evil corporation he works for thinks Mocklet is even better than chocolate. And Monica eats a bite and she says, so clearly she's loving it,
She
right?
took out Joey's acting class.
Yeah. She mentions she loves how it crumbles because chocolate doesn't do that.
No, ma'am.
And he says, anywho, which I realized I get from him.
Yeah, he says it a lot.
And we should be getting our FDA approval any day now. Both fingers crossed. Hopefully in time for Thanksgiving. So this little mention of Thanksgiving, I didn't know Thanksgiving was going on at the time because you'd be prepping for Thanksgiving in like May.
Right? Exactly.
So I didn't realize that this counted as their Thanksgiving episode.
I think it was saying, we're talking about Thanksgiving,
right.
But that's it.
So because the capitalist conglomerate knows chocolate dominates most of your food prep holidays, with chocolate being real and already existing, Easter, Christmas, what have you, but they think they can make Thanksgiving the mocklet holiday. Not sure they're thinking globally there, but you have to start somewhere.
Right.
Then he's like, are you going to swallow that?
Just waiting for it to stop bubbling.
Yeah, isn't that great? So Mr. Rastetter explains that they're looking for a couple of chefs to create some Thanksgiving-themed recipes. Her recipe could be on the box of mocklet. It's so exciting. What an opportunity. He asks Monica if she is interested. Absolutely. She loves coming up with new recipes. She loves Thanksgiving. And now she loves mocklet. Really. Especially that aftertaste. That'll last until Christmas. So then we go back to Monica and Rachel's. And Monica and Phoebe are there. And Monica's already trying to come up with the new mocklet recipes. She suggests mocklet mousse, but Phoebe says that's not very Thanksgiving-y.
I like Thanksgiving-y.
What about Pilgrim mocklet mousse?
What makes it Pilgrim?
Who's she, the fucking Thanksgiving police? And Mon says she'll put buckles on them. Rachel enters asking if Ross is called. He did not. And she starts in with, why didn't he call? Why? Oh, he's going to pick Julie. And she's going to get married and have lots of kids and they'll dig up stuff together.
No offense, but that sounds nothing like her.
Yeah. Somebody call the ambulance, right?
All right. So then we go over to Chandler and Joey's and the three males are there. I like how you're shortening it and just saying males and females.
Well, that's how they're grouping it during this episode.
Ross is also whining, saying it's a complete nightmare. Chandler says your favorite line. He's got it so hard. Two women love me. They're both gorgeous and sexy. And my wallet's too small for my 50s. And my diamond shoes are too tight. I know you just said it, but I wanted to say it again. So Joey is nonchalantly touching the laptop and offers a thought to Ross. Don't touch a computer.
Don't do that.
Joey says 2 words for Ross. Threesome. And then there's that cut line on the DVD. Yeah. And Chandler says, you still have another word if you want to use it. Which, if that would have been in the original, I probably would have picked that as my favorite line.
Yeah, that was a pretty good line. You still have a word left over.
Then Chandler says, let's get logical about this.
Okay.
And we'll make a Rachel and Julie pro-con list.
I don't know. That sounds out of the question to me.
I mean, over the last 30 years, how many have we made? Not for each other, but it's what you do when you're contemplating things.
Yes.
We usually go, let's go for a walk and talk it out.
Right.
Some things we should have talked a lot further out, but...
Yeah.
But anyway, Chandler says he can put their names in bold with different fonts and use different colors for each column. So sophisticated. Ross says, can't we just use a pen?
No, Amish boy.
I also love that line. Joey says, we'll start with the cons because they're more fun. Starting with Rachel.
Yes.
Ross says, I don't know. I guess you could say she's a little spoiled at times. And then Joey does my favorite moment. She's a little ditzy, a little too into her looks. But he and Julie have a lot in common because they're both paleontologists. But Rach is just a waitress. And then Chandler's typing and he goes, waitress. You guys want to play Doom?
If they would have just started playing Doom, they would have avoided a lot of problems.
But Joey and Ross both look at him like this is important. Or we could keep doing this.
Yeah.
And then Joey offers that her ankles are a little chubby.
Oh.
I know. Like, is that like something you'd pay attention to? I don't know. Anyway.
Joey does. Okay. He doesn't like it.
I thought he was an ass man.
That doesn't mean you can't look at the other parts.
Then Chan says, okay, let's do Julie. What's wrong with her? And Ross looks so forlorn. And he says, she's not Rachel. which is really sweet. And we see this.
Right.
So is mostly why we don't think the list is so bad, I think.
Right.
You know? Because,
that's why, as the audience,
yes,
we don't think it is as
bad as she
Rachel does.
reacts to it. Because we see he really wants to be with Rachel, and she doesn't see that part of it. So
Right. Well, I'm going to jump in here and kind of talk about the list because we didn't know where to put all of it. But like I said, Chandler is more or less doing the minutes of these friends having a conversation.
Right. Exactly.
And you never want to do that. It's always going to be bad.
Right.
If Rachel was having a discussion with Monica and Phoebe and somebody was taking notes and then gave the notes to Ross, he'd be like, what the fuck?
Right.
But that's what you do when you're talking things out with your friends.
Right. They made the list. They just happened to write it down because they were playing with Chandler's laptop.
Right.
So they would have had the conversation regardless. It just happened to be recorded because Chandler got this $3,000 laptop that he had nothing to do with.
All right. So then we're at Monica and Rachel's, the three ladies again. Monica is displaying her pumpkin pie with mocklet cookie crumble crust, mocklet cranberry cake, mocklet chip cookies, just like the Indians serve. And Rachel and Phoebe dig into the cookies.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, good?
Oh my God, I can't believe you let me put this in my mouth.
That's what she said.
You're so bad.
Phoebe says, oh, sweet Lord, this is what evil must taste like. And I like that as the two were washing the taste out of their mouths, Monica picks up a cookie and sniffs it. Like, she did no tasting while she was cooking at all.
So now we're back at Chandler and Joey's, and Chandler and Joey are there. Chandler's
sense.
Calling the computer hotline and banging on the buttons of the printer. Why do printers never work? It's like in every comedy episode, work-related thing, printers don't work.
Right. You know, I like that we as a society had so much trouble with printers, we just stopped printing things.
Right. We PDF it and share it with each other.
Let's just grade screens so we don't have to mess with printers anymore.
So Chandler reacts like we all do when we call customer support or IT service desk at your work. Yes, I pressed that button like 100 times. For hotline, you're not so hot.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
And then Chan says, what is that in the background? Are you watching Star Trek? And Joey's face during this part is so funny. Like him watching Chandler.
Yeah.
So then Ross enters. He doesn't say hi, but if he did, it would be hi. Joey asks how it went with Julie. Did you break her heart? Ross says, yes, it was horrible. She cried. I cried. She threw things. They hit me. Anyway, I did the right thing.
Definitely the right thing.
So Chandler in the background goes, so Spock actually hugs his father? And then Rachel enters.
Yes.
Joey immediately perks up like a little kid who's trying to play a prank on someone.
Yeah.
Like he can't wait for them to see the surprise.
He's giddy. You guys are going to be so in love in a minute.
She says hi to Ross and asks where he's going, and he says he just got back from Julie's. And she says, oh. But Ross says it's not what she thinks. It's the other thing. And Joey is like bursting at the seams. He's like bouncing in his chair.
And she looks like she has no idea, which I don't understand.
He's like, what? So he's bouncing in his chair and he goes, what? What is the other thing? What do I think?
Right.
And Ross does Ross and goes, well, but Joey can't wait any longer and says, he broke up with Julie and then tells him to go hug her for God's sake.
Yeah.
She says, really? And he says, really? It's always been you, Rach. And the crowd goes wild.
Whoa!
Joey and Chandler go, aww. It's really cute, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Rachel says, this is good. Really good. And they start talking, but notice that Joey and Chandler are hanging on their every word. So he suggests they go for a walk. Just us, not them. Which we say all the time.
Yeah.
Just us, not them. And she says, let me go get my coat. And Ross, being chivalrous, says, no, I'll get your coat.
Just let her get her own coat. You were so close.
So close. They could have just left. He could have met her in the hallway.
Right.
But I love the little interaction with Joey and Chandler. He's going to get my coat. And they're so happy for her. And she says, this is unbelievable. And she turns around and says, hey, what's that? On the tiny little laptop screen, how big was that motherfucking font?
Right.
Like, I wouldn't have been able to make that out. Of course, I need glasses to even look at anything. But
Yeah, they're 20-something.
yeah. So Chandler runs at breakneck speed. So it was so funny. While I was taking my notes, I paused it.
Mm-hmm.
And she's standing still, but Chandler's in motion behind her. It was so funny. It did. It looked like that. Chandler runs at breakneck speed to close the lid on the laptop.
Yes.
And then when he does, the printer starts printing.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Hey, it's printing!" And Joey gets it right away.
Hey, it's printing!
And she says she saw her name and wants to see. And he grabs the paper off the printer. And Ross returns with her puffy coat and says, "Someone order a coat," which falls flat because Chandler wrote something about me and he won't let me see. And Ross says, "He won't."
He won't.
And they're all shaking their head. Like, no. So Ross says, "Isn't that the short story you were writing?" And Rach says, "And I'm in it? Let me read it."
No!
So Joey offers to have Chandler read it to her. And Ross turns to look at him with so much contempt on his face.
You're right.
But Joey is so cute. He's nodding and winking like,
No,
we got this,
no
we
problem.
got this.
And this is like normally when we're watching this, you start throwing out other lines. They should have said this.
Yeah.
They should have said that. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. The
Right.
writers wanted them not to be together yet.
By the end of the episode. Yeah. So Chandler, who can come up with a sarcastic comment without a moment's hesitation, creates this story.
Yes.
It was summer, and it was hot. Rachel was there.
Mm-hmm.
Both Joey and Ross lean in like, see? A lonely gray couch. Oh, look, cried Ned. And then the kingdom was his forever, the end.
Cut and print. I mean, it's perfect, right?
A lonely gray couch. That is the most epic line ever. So Ross says, "That's it? That's all you wrote? You're the worst writer in the whole world." But Rachel snatches it, and they snatch it back. And she says, "That's fine," which is exactly what she said to Dr. Franzblau.
Oh.
She snatches it from Joey, who's standing there reading it.
Right.
Like you were there when they wrote it.
Right. Run out into the hall like you always do.
Or eat it like that Altie Booker.
Right. Wow, you knew his name right off the top of your head.
He's the paper eater. But she takes it and she goes, "What is this? Ross, what is this?" And then Joey and Chandler just bail on him.
Again, I think I would have hung around and been like, it was my idea. I was
Right.
playing with the computer.
Exactly.
But again, the writers don't care about working this out.
Right. So she reads, "Kind of ditzy, too into her looks, spoiled." He was supposed to type a little spoiled, that idiot. In what order is she reading this? Because
Right.
it's all over the place. And then she goes, "Just a waitress?" And Ross tries to backpedal and he goes, "Is this over yet?"
Yeah, I feel like he might have lost her with the "is this over yet?"
Right.
He says something worse later,
Right.
but the "is this over yet"
Yeah.
sounds a little too childish.
Not the right
She's
move.
clearly got her feelings hurt.
Right.
Ross is just so bad at being with her women, but that's when you hug her or hold her and look her in the eye and go, "Look, no matter what this says,
I love you.
I broke up with Julie."
Right. And so she goes to leave and says, "I do not have chubby ankles." He begs her to look at Julie's list. "She's not Rachum? What's a Rachum? Is that some stupid paleontologist word that I wouldn't know because I'm just a waitress?"
Okay, now you're just being obtuse.
That just makes me angry.
Yeah.
That whole part. Like, come
Yeah.
on. You know it says Rachel, or it was supposed to say Rachel.
Right. You're just being weird on
Right.
purpose now.
But she slams and locks the door on Ross. You actually hear her lock the door.
Right.
And even though Ross is shouting, "She's not Rachel."
Yeah, she don't open the door.
Right.
So, just so everybody's aware,
Uh-huh.
I checked the time code.
Okay.
From kiss to door slam,
Uh-huh.
their relationship lasted 3 minutes and 43 seconds. That's how long Ross and Rachel stayed together the first time. 3 minutes, 43 seconds.
So she's not hugging the door?
No. So now we're in Central Perk, Chandler, Joey, Monica, and Phoebe. And Chandler's moaning that he should have said it was his diary. She never would ask me to read her diary. Monica says it's great to have her around the day after an emergency, which is a little funny because they're all in the same clothes. So
Right.
it's clearly later the same day.
Yeah.
Phoebe can't believe the Dinkus would even make the list.
I love Dinkus.
Yeah. Joey tells them to cut Ross some slack. It was Chandler's idea.
Oh, good. I was hoping that would come up.
Chandler argues that these things happen for a reason. And Monica says, "Yeah, you."
I love that line.
And Chandler asks Phoebes to back him up. She believes in all that karma crap. And she says, yes, have good luck in your next life as a dung beetle.
So Monica and Rachel's. That was funny. Rachel's there alone. So Rachel's alone eating Malamars. They are a graham cracker cookie base with marshmallow and then dark chocolate coating over top of it.
Give me some of those.
So Ross is climbing up the fire escape to the balcony with a beat up umbrella and falls and tries to read the prose list he just wrote. Right. 2 pages front and back. She says she's not interested and closes the blinds. And that is the only time we see these blinds close because everyone sees everything after that.
Yes.
I didn't even know they had blinds. I thought it was funny. He says, the way you cry at game shows.
That's number 1.
Right.
That's number 1.
Number 1. The way you cry at game show.
I would find that a little annoying, but whatever.
I cry at commercials. I cry at TikTok videos.
Right, but if you were crying during Jeopardy, I'd be like, honey, you might need to...
He knew the answer. He just didn't get to press the button.
He just forgot to say, what is?
Oh my God, we digress. He goes, how much you love your friends, the way you play with your hair when you're nervous. And then the friends walk in. So Joey walks over to the window. How brave you are for starting your life over. How good you are with Ben. How you smell. And Joey yanks open the blinds and says in the same intonation, hey, Joe, want to open the window? So Chandler opens the window and lets Ross in and asks what he's doing out there. And Mom gets him a towel and offers him a nice steaming cup of hot makgeolli. So Ross pushes everybody away, all wet, standing at Rachel's bedroom door. He begs her to give him another chance. She opens the door and says, no. And he says, no? Chandler says, maybe we should go. And Rachel says, no, we're done talking. Don't go anywhere. Ross says, I know how you must. No, you don't, Ross. Imagine the worst things you think about yourself.
Okay.
And now, how would it feel if the one person you trust most in the world, does she though?
Yeah.
Anywho, thinks these things about you too, but also uses them as reasons not to be with you.
But
see, she missed the point of a pro-cons list.
Right. But he broke up with Julie.
Right. Ross opens his mouth and inserts his foot and says, I want to be with you in spite of all this.
Yikes.
Oh, my God.
Oh.
And she goes, that's mighty big of you, Ross.
Yeah, in spite of all those things, does not help.
No. So Chandler tries again to herd the group out the door, and Rachel yells, I said don't go!
Yeah.
And they bounce back with a pained look.
Right. And we have to go back to our marks so they can see us through the door.
That's right. So Ross says, if things were the other way around, there is nothing she could put on that list that would make him not want to be with her. And she says, well, I'd never make that list. And slams the door in his face again.
Second door slam. I don't know. Patch it up with Julie?
Julie, will you take me back?
Just give it a couple days. Be like, I made a mistake. Rachel's fucking crazy.
So Joey, using his girl kid whisper voice, says, I never know how long you should wait in this type of situation before you should talk again. And then Ross gives him a dirty look.
Yeah.
And then he goes, maybe a little bit longer.
Right. I think I would have moved around and took off my coat at least.
Right.
And the next scene is at Mocklet corporate headquarters. Monica and Mr. Rastetter again. The scene begins with Monica explaining the very, 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 very low doses of Mocklet she used in some of the recipes. But it doesn't matter. Mr. Rastetter is sad too. But not because of Ross and Rachel. But because the FDA approval did not come through. Something about laboratory rats. Monica expresses sympathy, and he gives her check and thanks her for her trouble. And then he asks, you didn't eat a lot of it while you were cooking, did you?
I ate some.
Some is fine. Some is not a lot. It doesn't burn while you pee, does it? And then that's when it popped into my head.
Oh, no.
Do you think Mocklett is why she can't have kids later?
Oh, no. Moving on.
You don't want to discuss that?
I think it's sad. I don't want to discuss it.
She's fictional. It's okay to talk about.
All right, so then we're back at Monica and Rachel's. Monica and Rachel are there. It's so sad. The phone rings and Mon answers, and it's Ross. He says, hi.
Hi.
And Rach says she would come to the phone, but her ankles are wearing her down.
And my self-pity.
So Ross asks Monica to do something for him. And Monica walks over to the radio and says, music, and turns it on. And then our DJ, Karen Sharp, introduces Ross's song, With or Without You, by U2, because remember I told you last time they didn't have the rights, but now they do.
Right.
And says Ross is deeply sorry. The song starts playing. Mon is standing in the doorway of her bedroom. And then when Rach goes to pick up the phone, she smiles. Rach dials and speaks softly into the phone.
And then there's just a little moment when they give the audience just a little bit of hope before...
So the song ends abruptly, and Ross looks confused. So the DJ says Rachel called and told him what Ross did, and it's pretty appalling. Ross, if you're listening, I don't want to play your song anymore.
Does everybody hate pro-consulate? I don't understand.
So Ross crashes and Mon goes into her room, and the DJ dedicates the song to a couple who's gonna make it.
I'm sorry to hit you with my car. So then we're at the Stinger. Mocklett corporate headquarters again. Monica and Mr. Rastetter again. Mr. R thanks Monica for coming back. Monica says,
I have no morals and I need the cash.
it's like I'm looking in a mirror. Anyway, the new product is called Fistachios. They taste exactly like pistachios, but they're made primarily of, ooh, I don't like that qualifier.
Primarily.
Yeah. Reconstituted fish bits. Here, try one.
All right.
You're not allergic to anything, are you?
Cat hair?
Oh, sorry.
He closes the lid. I just think that's
Yeah.
funny. Oh, no, don't take one.
Yeah. Cat hair? What about Miss Meowington's toys, huh? What about that, writers? What about continuity? What?
Adam, calm down. Are you okay?
Okay, it's just Ross and Rachel. I'm misplacing my anger.
And that's the end of the episode.
Well, wait. One thing that I wish they would have done.
Oh, okay.
In Miss Rastetter's office.
Right.
You can clearly see the one binder Mocklett behind him.
Right.
I wish when she would have came back, Fistachios would have been
That would have
in the
been
one
funny.
binder.
Yeah.
I wish they would have just done a couple more little gags like that. But anyway, that's the end. Cut and print.
All right, we're going to take another quick break before we get back.
Isn't that the short story you were writing?
Yes, it's the short story that I was writing.
And I'm in it? Well, let me read it.
No!
Come on! Why don't you read it to her?
All right. It was summer, and it was hot. Rachel was there.
Huh?
A lonely gray couch. Oh, look, cried Ned. And the kingdom was his forever. The end.
That's it? That's all you wrote? You're the worst writer in the whole world!
Ouch.
We are back for the wrap-up.
Yes. What did we learn from this episode? So, I learned that the friends make lists all the time.
Yes.
Joey made a list when he was thinking about dating Rachel, remember? And the only thing that was on the con list was she made him switch to light mayo.
Tastes the same and my pants fit better.
And Monica tells Ross to make a list of good and bad things when he's dating Elizabeth.
Yeah.
And that's when she did her weighing stuff. Chandler.
I learned that some people hate pros and cons lists. Chandler is not good at making up stories on the spot.
Nope.
Mocklett probably tasted really bad.
The bubbling would have threw me over.
And Ross would have been happier with Julie.
Oh.
Julie would have been like, pro-con list. It's a little offensive, but highly practical.
Right. All right, so what are your final thoughts?
Without this, we wouldn't have all that lobster nonsense that people like so much.
Oh, come on.
Plus, I'm going to admit it first, I like when Ross and Rachel fight. They're no David Maddie, but they're professionals. They get the job done.
I I love it. This happened because we have to keep them apart, and it has to be a lack of communication.
Yeah.
And I think Joey was very funny in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
His face, his get there faster with Ross.
Right.
And then in the end, when he can't wait to talk.
Yeah.
It's so funny. So what's our sweater vest tracker?
Our sweater vest tracker is now at 0.
Should we stop counting?
No.
Okay.
Here's what my new hope.
Uh-huh.
There's no sweater vest for season 2.
Really?
I'm hoping they get through the entire season without a sweater vest.
A new goal.
Yes. All right.
All right.
So, ratings.
Yes.
IMDb ratings, it's 8.3 out of 10 stars.
Okay.
With 5,800-ish ratings.
Oh, all right. But this week, I'm not going to read one of those ratings because we have a special review this week from one of our dedicated podcast listeners.
Oh, my goodness.
And no, it's not a friend I paid or a family member because they don't pay any attention to what I'm doing.
No.
So Michael W. from Shawnee, Kansas, which is a suburb of Kansas City. And he says it's a town that loves its sports and has weather that changes every hour. Sounds like where we live. Yeah. So he wrote in and says, "Thank you again for allowing me to contribute to this upcoming episode. I'm a certified Friends fanatic and have been since season 1.04. When I first saw the one with the blackout in college and fell in love with the series from then on."
Nice. You love that one.
I do. That's my favorite. I have quite the collection of Friends memorabilia, including the DVD box set, numerous Christmas ornaments, about 24 or so Friends Funko Pops.
He might have you beat on the Funko Pops.
He does. I also have several Friends t-shirts, and thanks to my wife, about 10 sets of Friends crazy socks.
Aw.
So here are his thoughts on this episode, the one with the list.
Okay.
So overall, it was a funny episode that turned sad by the end.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that Chandler was the star of the episode, but he did not wear any sweater vests, but still had the best lines.
Agreed.
One thought I had was, why did the writers get Rachel and Ross together for about 15 minutes of an episode?
3 minutes, 43 seconds.
And then break them apart for a couple of episodes and then get them back together. The one with the prom video, one of my top 10 episodes, he says. This seemed mean by the writers at the time, but I understand the theory behind it. And with the age where we can watch Friends anytime, day or night, we don't really see why it was such a big deal.
Right.
But I do feel for those that were watching every week back in the fall of 1995, wondering if Ross and Rachel would ever get together.
Not till the end. Never, ever till the end.
The side storyline with Monica and Mocklet was okay, but wasn't as funny as the main story about the list that Ross made on the pros and cons of dating Rachel and Julie. Mm-hmm. I do know that this was considered the Thanksgiving episode for the season, and I assume that this was put in there for that purpose. So for Thanksgiving episodes, it was the worst.
Well, yeah. I guess if you're judging it by that would be the worst of the Thanksgiving episodes.
Glad they made it up the following year with one of my top 5, the one with the football.
Oh.
So in terms of what I give this episode, I would give it 4 coffee cups out of 5. I love that. That's cute.
Yep.
My favorite character was Chandler. Least favorite was Joey, who really didn't do much in all this episode except for his expressions.
Which you loved.
I do. I think he's amazing. I'm sad to see Julie go after a total of 9 episodes, but no, ultimately it gets Ross and Rachel relationship to go into the middle of the 3rd season.
Yes.
So he also sent in his favorite lines, which his favorite line was Chandler. My wallet is too small for my 50s and my diamond shoes are too tight.
Nice. Agreed.
And his favorite outfit, he says it's a tie between Rachel's greenish gray puffer jacket and Phoebe's white raincoat with the butterflies on it.
Which I loved.
Yes. So he says, thanks so much for asking me to do this. As stated in Messenger earlier, I thoroughly enjoyed breaking down this episode and would do it again in a heartbeat because I'll be there for you.
Aww.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael. We really appreciate you listening. All right. So what do we have going on next week?
Next week, the one with Phoebe's dad. Okay. This title is misleading because even though Phoebe finds out the truth about her dad, he's not actually in the episode. So there's that. We see the cab for the first time, I think, and Ross and Rachel stuff, and a radiator breaks. So next week.
All right. Are you ready for some maladjusted content?
So this week we followed through.
Yep.
And we watched Diner.
We did. It was good.
It was good.
Yeah. It was filmed in 1982, but it took place in 1959.
Right. That's where it was set.
That's where it was set. Right. So it was really like a nostalgic, 50s diner type.
Right.
And it was about, 5 friends?
So the IMDb plot is fairly simple. It just says a group of college-age buddies struggle with their imminent passage into adulthood in 1959 Baltimore. And so the cast, we have Steve Guttenberg, Mickey Rourke, Kevin Bacon, Daniel Stern, Tim Daly, Ellen Barkin, Paul Reiser, and on and on and on.
Which, if you would have asked me if they were all the same age, I would have said no. You know?
Right.
I would have never have lumped that group of people together around the same age. And this was when Mickey Rourke was hot.
You didn't mention that while we were watching.
I did say, this was before Mickey Rourke looked scary. Well, it was really cute because he was a hairdresser in the movie.
Yeah.
It was so cute. And he was sweet. And he talked real soft. Yeah. And he did this little old lady's hair. And you're like, oh, my God.
And put his dick in popcorn so a girl would touch it.
Yes. He bet his friends that he could have this girl touch his, and, his dick, his penis. And so he opened up the bottom of the popcorn bucket and put his dick in there and then tried to explain to her that it was so hard, it popped through the bottom of the bucket. It was so funny.
Yeah. Not necessarily the greatest. But
no, it was.
No, I mean that section.
Oh, yeah, no.
I mean, it's not like it's not problematic, but I don't mind things that are a little problematic because...
I mean, people do shit like that.
Right. People do gross things.
And they were in their 20s. But what did you say it reminded you of, that movie?
Beautiful Girls.
Yes, Beautiful Girls, which I absolutely love. So if you haven't seen it, you have to look it up. It's Natalie Portman and what's that guy's name? Tim Hutton.
Yeah, Timothy Hutton.
Timothy Hutton and Michael Rappaport, who's in Friends.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's really good. It's just a cute story. Not a lot happens. But
it's just like they don't make a lot of movies like that anymore.
No.
They're just guys around town being guys around town.
Exactly.
And they, again, like Friends, they make bad decisions. They do things they probably shouldn't, but sometimes you do something you shouldn't to learn, I shouldn't do that.
Yeah, right. But Beautiful Girls is like that too, because it's just the guys sitting around talking about their life and the things that are going on, and that's what this movie was about. There was no like climactic change or anything like that. It was really cute. It was interesting. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
I think it would be a weird movie for me to play in my head while Rachel Green was going on and on about
maybe he was just trying to like think of something very intricate that he had to think of.
I guess if I saw it 20 times too.
That's true, true. But yeah, we recommend Diner. Give it a look.
I like 3 coffee cups, I guess.
Thanks, Michael. That's our new standard.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. I could see why the writers of Friends would mention Diner.
Absolutely.
Because it kind of has their characters seem like Joey and Ross and Chandler.
It was a group of 5 guys that hung out together, that grew up together. Yeah.
So one of the plot lines of Steve Guttenberg had a marriage. He was going to get married.
Right. He was engaged.
And he had a football test for his fiance.
Yeah.
And if she failed, he wasn't going to marry her. And it was like 249 questions or something
140
like that?
questions, and she had to get like 65 to pass.
She had to pass. So I was like, Joe, I'm going to give you a football quiz right now.
Okay.
Joe.
Yes.
Do you watch football?
No.
Perfect. You passed. That was my football test.
I'm glad. All right. Well, thanks for listening this week. If you guys would like your thoughts or reactions regarding future episodes to be shared with the rest of the class.
Like Michael.
That's right. He was awesome. If you just want to reach out and say hey.
But yeah, we'd like to hear from more of you misfits out there.
So email us at themaladjustedmisfits@gmail.com. Rate us and leave positive comments.
And if you have a negative comment, try to leave it in a more positive way.
Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. You can follow along in the links in the show notes. The pages are called The One Where We Talk About Friends.
Joe, you ready for a cup of hot chocolate?
Nope.
Joe, you ready for a cup of coffee?
Always. Oh, her ankles are a little chubby.